Microsoft, a name that's hard to avoid. Either you use it every day or you've just given up resisting. It's less a tech company now and more like a subscription you're born into. Using Microsoft products often feels like being in a long-term relationship with someone who constantly rearranges the furniture, ignores your feedback, and insists you need to change. Take Windows, for example, the so-called home of productivity. More often, it feels like a haunted house. You're mid-project, racing a deadline, when suddenly, getting Windows ready, don't turn off your PC. You didn't schedule an update. No one did. Yet here comes Microsoft, barging in like an overconfident roommate convinced it owns the place. And after the update, does anything actually improve? Not really. Your printer vanishes, drivers start acting up, and yesterday's stable apps now behave like they've just met you. It's like walking into a surprise party where everything's on fire, and somehow you're the host. Then there's Microsoft Office. Remember when you could just buy it and be done? Those days are history. Now it's Microsoft 365, a never-ending subscription for tools you may never use, updates you didn't ask for, and login prompts that appear more often than your closest friends. It's like paying rent on your own pen just to write with it. And then there's Edge, the browser that really wants to be liked. Too much. It pops up uninvited, quietly resets your defaults, and keeps asking for another chance, like a clingy ex who won't stop texting. You open it once, and suddenly it's pitching Microsoft products like a salesperson trapped in your screen. For a browser meant to be fast, it's impressively slow at taking a hint. Let's not forget Copilot, Microsoft's AI sidekick, pitched as your productivity partner. But instead of being helpful, it often feels like an overzealous supervisor reading your emails over your shoulder. It makes suggestions you didn't ask for, scans your documents without warning, and generally acts like it knows you better than you'd like. If it were a person, you'd consider filing a complaint. But since it's built in, you just nod and pretend it's useful. The frustrating part isn't the occasional glitch or bug. That happens to everyone. The real issue is Microsoft's pattern of treating users less like people and more like test subjects in a massive experiment. The focus seems to be less on building tools that respect your time and choices, and more on nudging you into subscriptions, locking you into ecosystems, and collecting your data along the way. Does Microsoft listen to user feedback? Maybe. But it's hard to tell over the sound of them redesigning File Explorer for the 1000th time or adding yet another confusing layer to Teams. Because, clearly, what the world needed most was a more complicated way to join a meeting. So, if you've ever felt irritated, bewildered, or just plain worn out by Microsoft products, you're not alone. You're navigating an OS that craves your attention, an office suite that nags like a micromanaging boss, a browser with boundary issues, and an AI assistant that's just a little too involved. Microsoft, turning powerful technology into a complicated relationship since 1975. Let me know if you want it toned down